what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. I'm Dave. I'm here with my co-host Brandon, and we are on our fifth installment of what has easily become one of our favorite segments. What did we just watch? This is a crazy episode because these are two bonkers films that we know you're gonna love, or at least I think that they'll love it. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a different take on what we normally have.
Sure.
So I think that a lot of the fans, I think everyone that recommended these two films, or even just a list on Instagram and wherever else we had
Oh,
posted it.
people went nuts last time we did that. So it actually, that was a few weeks ago. It took us a little bit to get to this episode, but
Hmm.
this episode definitely didn't disappoint. So our two films today are Excision and Hard Rock Zombies. If you like all things horror and want to get the best horror news, interviews, and reviews,
Like, subscribe, and ring that bell to follow us and satisfy all your horror
Hard
needs.
Rock
Zombies. What the fuck?
I mean, these are both two crazy, crazy films, just in like very different ways.
Yeah.
But actually sort of made a pretty awesome pairing, even though they're so different. I don't know if you kind of found that too.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that right away because I had Hard Rock Zombie was on my list for a while, but I just never got
Yeah.
around to it. So, but hey,
Yes,
we'll see.
we will see. So let's start us up with Excision.
Hmm.
Um, were you familiar with Excision before we checked this out?
No, I never heard of this movie before, so I
Same
went
here.
went into it blind.
Yes. So this was recommended by our listener and friend, Chell out of hell, Chelsea. She is someone who comes to our movie nights, and we've actually gotten to meet in person. So it's
Hmm.
cool to be able to talk about this film. It definitely fits a movie that I picture Chelsea watching because
Yeah.
I can definitely picture her having cool and weird tastes. So that's kind of how I would like classify this movie. Um, so Excision was directed by Richard Bates Jr., who this was his first feature film, but you
Hmm.
all might recognize that name as he directed the 2019 film Tone Deaf, which I did watch. Did you see that one, Brandon?
No, I didn't watch Tone Deaf yet.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So this one was back in 2012, and it stars Anna Lynn McCord, who I didn't know by name, but I definitely recognized her from Nip Tuck. She
Okay.
was on that for a while. She plays lead character Pauline. Tracy Lords plays Phyllis, the mom, like an uptight mom. That's a
Yeah.
pretty interesting role for Tracy Lords, and she does awesome. I thought she did really good in this.
Yeah, not bad.
And then there's a few special guests. My guy Ray Wise from
Your
Twin Peaks
boy.
fame.
Your
Yep,
your boy
I saw him and I couldn't form words. I got
froze up.
starstruck. He was on my TV and I got starstruck. Malcolm McDowell,
Yeah.
McDonald, McDowell. Yeah, it was McDowell. Malcolm
That's
McDowell.
McDowell. McDowell.
Yeah, Malcolm McDonald. Isn't that like a singer?
That's like a little like was it Coming to America? How they use like McDowell's as McDonald's. It's McDowell. It's
McDowell's.
Yeah, it's McDowell.
McDowell and John Waters, which makes total sense. This is a
Yeah,
John Waters type film.
definitely is.
So just a quick little description. The one liner about this film, or like the tagline, is a disturbed, delusional high school student with aspirations of a career in medicine goes to the extremes to earn the approval of her controlling mother. Not a bad tagline, kind of boring.
Yeah.
But I guess that is kind of what's going on. So essentially, she's an 18-year-old girl who lives with her family. She has a younger sister named Grace who has cystic fibrosis, and Pauline is she has delusions of becoming a surgeon, even though she's not super good at much, it feels like.
Yeah.
And she also has these like daydreams about
It's just crazy shit.
what are they?
Yeah, those are nuts. Those are
She's in
nuts.
like Willy Wonka's like blood factory, is what it feels like. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, there's like blood dripping. It's like blood, like surgery, gore, and sex all mixed into her daydreams.
Yeah.
Super weird. And then she has like she almost has like Napoleon Dynamite type interactions with her classmates.
Yep.
And then lastly, she's like convinced that she's going to lose her virginity.
Hmm.
And she basically just tells a guy that she's ready to have sex. And he like tries to have sex with her without anyone finding out because he would be totally embarrassed by it. And she doesn't tell him that she's on her period.
Yeah, that was one thing that she wanted to stand out. She wanted that to happen. Like she wanted that to be on her list. She wanted to be on a period when she lost her virginity. But yeah, like you said earlier, man, just like this film with the daydreams and everything. Like
Yeah.
when the film first starts off, it just has this crazy one where it's like two of her. You know what I mean? She's just sitting in the chairs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of just like you could notice that she's looking at herself like covered in blood, and then how she was getting turned on. And so I was just like, right then and there, I was like, what the fuck are we getting ourselves into? Like this
Yeah.
shit is fucking nuts.
Yes. Uh, when she has sex with the boy, she makes him go down on her, and that's when he realizes that she's on her period.
Yeah,
And also, while she's having sex with him, she's daydreaming of like choking him, and there's like blood involved. So like her whole thing with like blood and sex is like intertwined, and it's
yeah.
disturbing. Um, but she takes a sample after they have sex and takes it to school and then brings it to the lab to find out if she got an STD from him.
Hmm.
And then like goes up to him and his group of friends and like tries to like, tell him like, oh, good news, you don't have I don't have an STD, which means you don't either or something, pretty much like
Yeah,
outing him for doing it.
yeah.
But just the way she goes about it, it's very, it's like I said, it's very Napoleon Dynamite-esque, Greasy Strangler-esque, kind of
Oh yeah,
fits in well
definitely.
with those films.
Yeah.
A little faster than I think those films, but like just the interactions are just uncomfortable and weird.
Yeah, just even like all the interactions with her family, like you said earlier, like the mother, it was just kind of weird. And then like I think in some films, I just can't stand that when the mom and father are kind of like set up that way, where it's like the mom's uptight, and sometimes the dad wants to be cool, and then the mom kind
Yeah,
of like, "What are you doing?" And then it's like, "Yeah, you listen to your mom," and
yeah.
it's like weird sometimes, and it's just like I don't know. I think that's like one of the things that I really didn't care for this film.
Sure. The dad
Uh,
was like that easygoing, like I think he was like a church guy too, like Jesus.
nah,
But like one thing that I thought was gonna happen, which they didn't, and I think it's probably a good thing they didn't because this would have been even weirder. I thought the dad was gonna like start hitting on her at one point. Like it felt
mm,
he was, but they didn't go that route, so that was good. So he
nah.
ends up just kind of being this laid back dad, and eventually even he breaks with her because she's just so frustrating to everybody.
Yeah. It reminded me of Raw a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah, I
you know
could
what I
see
mean?
that with like the
Yeah.
blood and everything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, definitely like John Waters vibes all throughout.
Hmm.
This was filmed in 28 days, which is actually, sort of impressive because it doesn't come off as a film that felt rushed.
Mm.
Uh, there's some decent lines, and I really wish I had written them down as they were happening. I got a couple, but there was some that I totally missed, and I
Yeah.
wish I'd written them down. One was like she says to someone like, "What do you think the boys see in all these overly made up cum dumpsters?" And some girl says to her, "Do you purposely leave the house looking like a raging lesbian? You have the body of a 10-year-old boy." They're just brutal to each other. It's like they're very like just they go for the jugular,
Yeah.
and the makeup on her is pretty fantastic because they make her look hideous with
Hmm.
like this giant eyebrow. And if you see her in real life, like she's pretty, so they
Yeah.
definitely did a good job kind of transforming her.
You could see that too in some of the scenes when like, when she was actually talking to God. I think at that point in
Yeah.
time, like she kind of like had a little bit makeup on and everything.
Mhm.
She didn't look the same from in the film. So
Yeah.
I think those little flashbacks, like talking to God
Yeah,
was,
they went heavy on like the acne and stuff like that too.
yeah.
I was like kind of impressive the way they did that.
Yeah, you couldn't see as much of the acne and stuff like when she was doing that. So I'm pretty sure I think that those shots like talking to God were like some time after.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So eh.
A couple of letterbox comments that I thought were kind of funny. Someone writes in quotations, laughing nervously, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Another guy says, "This is what happens when John Waters is your therapist." And then someone else writes, "Kind of repulsed, kind of turned on, kind of heartbroken.
Kind of
So
heartbroken.
that's kind of a nice one. I
Yeah.
will say the final scene in this, which I can't give away,
Mm.
is nuts.
Yeah, that's I think that final scene definitely kind of like made the film a little bit better for me because it was just like I'm like, okay, where we going? Where we going? And then so like the final scene, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
it was they ended things off like in a good way. So
If I were going to give like feedback to this film about this film that was made like over 10 years ago, I would definitely say one thing is it could have probably been even shorter.
yeah.
Like they could have like cut out some to make the pacing at certain points go even faster, because it did seem like, all right, yeah, this has been going on for a while. Where are we going? That final
Mhm.
scene hits hard. That's pretty awesome. Sort of a spoiler, but like doesn't tell you what's happening. Her head shaved in the final scene,
Yeah. Yep.
and she shaved her head in real life for that scene.
Did she? Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep.
Not bad. Just committed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a choice.
Yeah. So just going back and just looking at that film, I'm just like, all right, cool. Like, it's definitely something I would recommend to someone, but
Yes.
also like you just touched on that it was kind of too long. I watched it on Prime Video and it was like on the freebie type side. So it had commercials to it.
Yep.
So did you watch it on Prime
I
also?
watched it on Tubi and I had the same experience. It was like
Okay.
commercials.
I think the Prime Video commercials are a little bit longer.
I think so too.
Yeah, so if you want to check this out, watch it on Tubi because I feel as though that yeah, it's on the long side with those commercials.
Yeah. But if you liked films like Welcome to Dollhouse, actually, have you
Mhm.
seen Welcome to Dollhouse, Brandon?
Welcome to Dollhouse. I have to look at it and try to see a trailer or something right now. I don't want to say yes or no. I gotta go back and look
Yeah.
because there's sometimes I don't know. Can't
If
can't
you
remember.
if you recognize it, you'll know why I'm saying it. Like
Hmm.
it's a very similar type film. If you liked Welcome to Dollhouse, you'll probably like Excision. It's I would say it's probably not for our entire audience, but if you like weird films, you don't mind a ton of gore and blood, I would definitely say Excision is probably one for you. Check it out. Um, Chelsea, you are sick and twisted, and that is why you can be our friend still. This was a good call, and I'm glad you made us watch this.
Thick and twisted. Fucking Chelsea. How dare you?
So, Brandon, you got anything else about Excision that you want to say?
No, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Not as crazy as the other films, but it was good.
Yeah,
Uh,
content. I think content was crazy
yeah,
on
it was
but yeah, I get what you're saying.
no.
It
Good
was a
job
good.
though.
It was a good film to start this
Yeah,
episode with. Like if I watched him in this order too, so I feel like this was good, and then prepared me for what I was going to watch next.
I watched it in the complete opposite order
Did
as
you?
you.
Okay.
Yeah. Ah, shit.
So what's
So
next, Brandon?
rock was it? Rock hard rock zombies.
You almost
Rock.
said Rock Hard Zombies, and that would have been a different film.
That's what it should have been called anyway. This fucking movie was fucking nuts. I swear to God. So yeah, this was recommended to us. It's a 1985 horror comedy. It was on my like I said, I was on my watch list to check out a few years ago, but I never got around to it. So it's funny because it released on Screenbox. It's on their streaming service, and now it's on our what did we just watch recommendation.
Yeah.
So it's chosen. Who was this chosen by?
Jerry Bramat or Bramett, I don't know how to say the last one, at
Okay,
JerryBramat. Jerry, thank you.
Jerry, you a sick motherfucker. So
Jerry, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
yeah, this fucking movie had like too much going on. So like we said again, it was a Hard Rock Zombies. It's a 1985 American horror comedy, film and directing, co-written by Krishana Shah. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit something about Krishana Shah. He was born in India. He was a graduate at the Bombay University,
Really?
Yale, and UCLA, and he's the first Asian American writer, director, and producer who won a critically acclaimed award on Broadway and Hollywood.
Wow.
And he makes this movie out of
Wow.
all fucking movies. Like how?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Eh,
Krishna Shah.
Krishna Shah.
That's awesome.
And this is also like a canon film, so I know everybody out there are big fans of some of the
Yeah.
canon films. So if you're a big fan of canon films, check this out.
It was
Um,
cool seeing that, like their intro at the beginning, the canon intro. I was like,
yeah,
definitely a throwback.
yeah. So the film was made in 1983, and it was at the same time as Krishna Shah's drive-in feature. Like, what was it? Drive-in feature as a drive-in movie within the same time.
Mhm.
So he has another movie that came around that time called like with drive-in stuff.
Okay.
So and it has like some of the same actors, I guess. And it has a runtime of 98 minutes. So Phil, what was it? Phil? I had his name. The little guy.
Fondacaro?
Fondacaro.
All right.
Fondacaro. He was the only actor that stood out to me in this film. He was the little person.
That's the only actor?
He's the only actor that stood out to me, like, because that I knew.
Oh, you knew. I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, there's some great performances in this.
No. So he was in a lot of like old Full Moon movies and Tales from
Yeah.
the Crypt episodes, Ghoulies 2. He
Oh,
was in
cool.
everything. So I think
Yeah.
like he was that little person that they went to go use for
Yeah.
all the movies back in the 80s.
Oh, you know what's so funny? So, and I mean, this isn't a slight on a little person at all, but I watched this movie kind of on my phone for majority of it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of hard for me to get like a good view of people. So I totally didn't get like good facial recognition of him.
He
Uh,
was young.
he
This was
was
like
young.
this is one of his first movies, so he definitely looked different. I'm just looking at. I had to look at him a few times, and I'm like, all right, yeah, that's Phil Fondacaro. There you go. I got your name right, Phil. Phil
Yeah, Phil.
Fondacaro. So yeah, Hard Rock Zombies was released on Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome, as part of a 2-disc set with Slaughterhouse Rock. So if you're into rock and roll horror movies, Slaughterhouse Rock is definitely another film that you should throw on to your list to
There's a
watch.
good list of those now, huh?
Yeah. So there's a big thing that's going around too. Like a lot of people like to make like horror rock lists. It's
Yeah.
called Rocktober.
October.
Yeah. So if you're looking for some horror rock movies, look up hashtag Rocktober. You'll definitely find some more. I think this was definitely at the top of that list. But
Nice.
with Black Roses, so in Slaughterhouse
Would you
Rock,
consider Slumber Party Massacre 2?
I would throw that in there.
I would too.
I would throw that in there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's a nice little like list right there of fun films to watch. That's what and Trick or Treat, obviously.
Yeah, Trick or Treat was one of them. Black
That's another one
Roses.
I saw recently, but yeah, that's cool. Those are fun films.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into this shit. So it's about a heavy metal band that must do a performance to impress a record company scout. They do a concert in a town that outlawed rock and roll. The town council is influenced by murderous Nazi cult leaders. It's like what? Like why? The band is slain by the cult, but later return to life as zombies by a recording that the bass player that wrote using like a medieval spell book
Yeah.
of lyrics.
Which he was testing before they died because
Yeah,
he
he
was
was in
killing a spider, and they were like, I don't think he realized he kept bringing the spider back to life at first.
Yeah, yep, and the hand was like moving in the jar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just nuts, and then it just caused the whole town to break out like a outbreak of a zombie ghouls and shit, and zombie outbreak. But here's a tagline for this movie: "They came from the grave to rock and rave and misbehave."
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
I don't know. Like yeah, I said Rocktober. Add that to your list.
Yep.
But watching this movie, I had noticed that like I think the Foo Fighters definitely took some of the good things that they could from this film and put it into like Studio 666 because it was kind of the same way a little bit, but not bad.
Did you get the sense that like you were almost watching two different films if you watched like the first 45 minutes and then the last 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And I found the first 45 minutes to be way more enjoyable than the last 45 minutes. Did you?
Yeah, it had that. It definitely it felt like three movies to me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
just
could
like
see that too.
I was just like, damn, why is all this shit happening? And then it's just like so many twists and turns, and I don't know. I don't know how the fuck this movie
Yeah,
even
like who wrote this and was like, this is it. This is what we're doing.
yeah.
We need to make this film. Brandon, tell them what creatures were in this film.
What features?
Creatures.
Creatures.
We had zombies, obviously.
Yeah, zombies. We had what? Werewolves?
We had a werewolf. We had a little person who looked like
Like a
Elephant
ghoulie?
Man. Yeah,
As
or
like
like,
a
yeah,
little
I thought he was trying
yeah.
to be Elephant Man at first.
It was
Uh,
something. We had
he
so
was
many
something weird.
transformations.
You had
Yeah,
like a murderous, like seductress,
we had Hitler.
Hitler,
It's like it's nuts.
cults.
Nuts. Yeah, there was a lot of little fucking lines that was in this movie. So like when the rock guy was talking to the younger lady, like the father's like, "Get out of town, you fucking pecker." It's like
Yeah.
I'm like, there's just so much going on. Like, you know what I mean? And like the songs and shit. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like a rock musical. So if you're into like musical movies in some sort of way, this is your movie. But the lyrics sound like R. Kelly wrote these lyrics. I think I'm so in love, but you're so young. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Because that girl was, he kept talking about how young the girl was, but then he's like telling her how cool, like how great she is.
yeah,
And then he's
that
like, you're weird.
yeah, there was a lot of weird things in this fucking movie, and I was just like, okay, trying to get past all this stupid shit. Let me push through and try to keep watching. But and then it goes to a scene when you got the grandparents
Yes.
having
Yeah.
sex,
Yep.
and then the grandmother's like, "You're 95 years old and you still do it." Well, some shit, and the grandfather's like, "It's the vitamins."
Yeah. And then he says a bunch of other random words that were like, I guess they were German words or whatever.
Yeah, and then you
And then
have the
and then
little
all the little
people
people come over and they're like, yeah, oh,
asking
it's
to
so
watch,
bonkers.
asking to watch, and the grandfather goes, "You can look, but you can't touch." Like, why? What the fuck is going on here? Oh my god.
That song, I'm so in love but you're so young, it reminded me of like there's this Kiss song.
Mm,
It's about like basically about like a young girl, and I felt like maybe they kind of riffed on that. I don't know like the year of what the song versus when this movie was made, but
mm.
the music in this was actually not too bad. Like
It wasn't bad.
I didn't think it was bad. Like
The
I
lyrics
was,
were bad, but the
yeah, the
song
lyrics.
sounded okay.
I was like, this music is like. At first, I was like, is he really singing? I wonder if that was he really singing. Was that him?
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, man.
And he was so weird looking, the main guy of the band with his like mustache and his long hair. I just thought he was bizarre looking. I was like, there's no way this guy's gonna make it through the movie. And then he's like the lead of the band.
Yeah.
When
I
they're in
don't
the changing room and they're wearing like the most awkward underwear I've ever seen. They all have like
yeah.
these little speedos on and they're like changing in front of each other. Yeah, there was a lot of like funny little like 80s things in there. But another quote they said at one point, this girl's worried about Jesse, and she's like, "Will they hurt Jesse? Jesse's a big boy; he can handle himself. Besides, he's dead."
He's dead. Yeah, this is nuts. So yeah, like the movie just started off where like after the concert, like you said, like when they were in their underwear and shit inside the dressing room, you had all the young girls inside there, kind of like getting their autographs and shit. And then the lead singer walks off, and then there's a little girl inside the other room, and he's talking to her about like, "Hey, do you want to meet the band?" And she's just like, "No." And she's like, your next show, don't come to town." Like trying to give him a heads up and shit.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
just like, "Huh?" And so yeah, it's just a
yeah.
weird movie.
As they're
It's,
driving, they pick up the seductress, the hitchhiker, and
yeah,
she invites them to stay. She's like, "You might as well stay at our house." And then the one guy's like, "Yeah, she's a fox. Let's do it," or whatever.
yeah,
Like anyone would ever just do that, pick up a woman and just like randomly go to their house. But they immediately get like electrocuted trying to start like playing in the front of the house.
yeah. This is nuts because like when I first had seen like the trailer and everything, I thought they died from
Mm.
that electrical shock, but then it didn't, and so it kind of like had gone on, and then so like each band member had their own like death, and it was kind of cool because one of them kind of like took everything from like Psycho and
Yeah.
kind of put that into it with the shower scene and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool, and it was just with the grandmother chasing one of them
Yeah.
upstairs in the attic and stuff. So it wasn't bad. I enjoyed the kills and that and
Yep.
how everything
Yep. There was
happened.
some fun stuff. Definitely some
Uh,
fun stuff. And like I said, like I loved the first half of this movie. I was like, this is honestly the best thing I've ever watched. Like I was laughing, I was like enjoying it. And then later it kind of was losing me during some of the parts. But there was
uh,
this awesome montage when they get to when they're in the like the downtown of this place where they don't want where the people don't want them. And
mhm.
like it just keeps going to like close-ups of like all these angry old men who don't want them there, and they're just like looking at their face like judging. And then the band's like doing all this crazy like it looked like a Van Halen music video or something. They're like
Yeah.
jumping. One guy's on a skateboard and he's doing the coolest move I've ever seen on a skateboard where he just spins in circles. I'm like, I want to learn this skateboard just to spin in a circle in place.
Spin
For
in circles. You got to
but
find
like
that move.
that montage was amazing, and it was like it's just so simple but just hilarious. Like a group of guys just goofing around having a good time.
Yeah.
That's how every band should be.
Yeah, what was the deal when they came back from the dead and they just come out the grave and they're like marching? Like, what the fuck was that about?
That march was ridiculous.
Marching zombies. Like, what the fuck
And
is going on?
did you know? Here's actually something they put thought into this.
Mm,
Hitler's death. What did
yeah.
you notice? They do ring around the Rosie,
Mm,
pocket posy around him. They don't actually say it, but they circle
they're
around. They're
doing
like,
it.
ring around the Rosie. Do you know what ring around the Rosie refers to?
What was that?
Ashes to ashes.
Oh, dust to dust.
The Holocaust. They
Yep.
actually thought about that as they killed off Hitler.
Yeah, even the later scene, like when all the smoke and everything was coming through the houses and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That was the death, right? When he was there?
Yes, yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
But it
I
was
think
more
so.
than it was, yeah, it was just more than him. So
So yeah, I just thought that was like so bizarre that this movie that's like off the walls has something like actually with like some real depth
well,
behind it. But
the guy is a Bombay University,
yeah,
UCLA.
he's like, I'm really trying to send a message here to the people.
Gotta throw something in this.
Yeah.
So yeah. Like we said, we talked about the marching zombies.
They
Something
were
else.
like they were like if the group of Clockwork Orange was
Yeah.
on like West Side Story or something like
West
that.
Side Story.
Like,
Uh,
yeah, it was weird. It's funny if you think about it, it's so funny that like that's supposed to be what rock and roll was at that time.
mm,
Like if you think about what rock and roll, like we think about like darkness and they're like dancing. They
yeah.
have like long hair and they're like dancing and wearing speedos.
Well, I think probably, like since it was that time, I think that, even with the young girls and everything like that, I think probably like a lot of rock bands are probably getting in trouble for a lot of that shit
Oh
actually
yeah.
happening going on in that time. Like you look at it, like look at Elvis. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And
I
then
mean, and that's a great point because like he literally walks away and he's annoyed by a group of like adult women who
yeah.
rush into the changing room. So he
Hmm.
walks away and he's like pushing them off and then goes in the room and then starts flirting immediately with a child.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Different
I say
times.
child, but I mean, she didn't look that young to me, but he kept saying she was young. I didn't think she
Uh,
looked that young.
hey, who knows? So next time I'm gonna tell you, like, if we have a zombie outbreak, I'm gonna make sure we use pop culture cutouts for face masks and everything to kind of like run around with to kind of lure the zombies in different directions.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked. It didn't work for them, but I think they used the wrong people.
Yeah.
So now, if that happened in today's age, what pop culture like performer would
Oof.
you use?
Well, that's a good question. Do you have one?
Uh, right, use like a Beyonce or something.
Beyonce.
Beyonce, please, please don't eat me.
Oh boy. Oh geez. So someone who we love. Dude, everyone loves Bruno Mars. Oh, Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. Hey, now they had some good pop out.
I'm
They
too
had some.
tall. I'm too tall to be Bruno Mars.
They had Elvis, uh, John Lennon. There's a few
Yeah.
other ones in there. Just
Actually, I could be Pitbull.
Pitbull.
Da,
Nah.
it's chasing me around.
So I want to point something out too. The guy that had gotten his head taken off first, his name was Arnold. And that was just like a whole nother scene. Like, you know, what I mean, like when it would go back and forth of with him and his wife. And I don't think she couldn't come to terms with that Arnold was dead. You know, it just came to the points where another lady had picked up Arnold's head and then she's
Yep.
like, get away from him. How dare you let this floozy touch you like that? Like with this guy still being dead, she was still jealous. Like it's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, that's why I said that was just like so many movies. It just kept on going so many ways because you had Arnold's character, that whole story rolling through. The lady that they picked up, she had her own little scenes, and it was like little rock videos, kind of like she's just dancing all the time.
Yeah,
And
and that kept happening as people were dying. So it almost
yeah,
felt like she was like somehow orchestrating it with her dance moves.
yeah,
I don't know if that was supposed to be what was happening there.
I guess so.
Wait, I got a question. Is he still alive, the director, Krishna?
I don't think so.
Oh, so we'll
But
never
he has a lot of movies though. Why
we'll
would you
never
want to
get these questions answered.
talk to him?
Yeah,
I
of
need
course.
to I need to know what was going through your head as you were writing this film.
Please tell us your
I
secret.
want to know.
Man, that's a bummer if he is dead.
We can actually make him a zombie and bring him back
Well,
with the
I'm
lyrics.
looking it up right now, seeing if he's passed away.
We gotta find the song, play it
Yes,
at his
oh
grave.
my God, he passed away a while ago. He passed away when Excision came out. So
Oh, what a fucking coincidence with this
that
fucking
is,
episode, huh?
yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Well, feels good that we're watching this in his honor.
Rest in peace. You were a good man. I
You
hope
know
you
what?
were.
He died on October 13th, 2013.
Mm,
October 13th this year is going to be a Friday the 13th. So
yep.
we'll be doing our movie night in his honor, but not watching.
Jason.
Yes.
We're just gonna change it to Krishnan lives.
Krishna. This is a lot of fun having people pick movies for us. Like we've had a lot of fun with these episodes.
Yeah,
I enjoy
definitely.
this. I enjoy this
Now,
a lot.
now, where would you rank these two
Yeah,
films
I
in the
I
whole
knew we were
list?
gonna have to do this, right? Um, all right. So these two films I enjoyed. Oh geez, this is so tough. I'm trying to think of what the so
Well,
we have the I'm terrible with remembering things. The first one was the Fonda film,
yeah. Then we had
Deadly Spawn, with those two together.
was it Blades?
Blades and the Fonda film,
Yeah.
which was can't remember the
The
name.
the demon something. I forgot.
Devil.
The devil.
Okay.
Fuck.
We had Sisters and Deadly Spawn.
Yep.
Ooh, that's tough now.
Yeah.
We had Ghost House and the Platform. That one's up there for me.
Yeah.
We had Greasy Strangler and Demon Lover. So this one to me, like Greasy Strangler is what holds that one up.
Yeah.
But I would probably put this one above Greasy Strangler and Demon Lover.
These two films, you would put those above that?
I liked Greasy Strangler, but I liked Excision and I liked this movie. Thought
Yeah.
they were fun. And then, geez,
Yeah, they
no,
were
I'd say
okay.
probably. I actually think maybe Greasy Strangler and Demon Lover are above Blades and
Okay.
the Fonda film. Then this one, then Ghost House and Platform, and I'm missing one.
Yeah. Well,
Somewhere.
we're not shitting on anyone's choices. We like them all. We enjoy them. You know, I just wanted to kind of see where this episode stands on the other
This, I
one.
mean,
So
this is up there for me. This is up
yeah,
there. How
it
about you
is.
for you?
This Deadly Spawn episode, you know, in the ghost house,
Yeah.
and then the devil episode, and then Greasy Strangler, then probably this one.
Okay, so it's last for you. Dead
Yeah,
last. Dead
yeah,
last.
yeah.
Rock bottom.
Rock bottom. And that's not a bad thing. I think that it's just a lot of good choices. And so not shitting on anything, but I like I said, the first film was okay. Then Hard Rock Zombies definitely kind of like tilted it up a little bit more. We had kind of had things going, so it was a
Yeah.
fun episode. It was a good choices. We appreciate everybody that took the
Yeah.
time to kind of throw some films at us. Sometimes we kind of get films that we've already seen that, or I've seen, or Dave hasn't seen, or there's some films that I've seen that he hasn't seen, and so I think we kind of put some of those films to the side
Yep.
because
Yep. Oh, we got a long ass list of films we both haven't seen still before we get to the ones that maybe one of us has seen but not the other.
yeah,
So I don't think that this is going to end anytime soon. We got a
no,
lot of episodes coming out of this.
yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like I think the films that I've seen a lot of commercial films, but for myself, like I haven't seen a lot of cheesy movies that like or some of the foreign films, like some
Mm-hmm.
of the Japanese films.
Yep.
Sometimes I don't really touch that side of horror as much as I should. So I think it's
Yeah.
kind of cool when it's like on the list. So
I also like the fact that we've been kind of like conscious of the picks we're choosing, trying
hmm
to balance like something, maybe it's like something older, something newer,
hmm
just kind of like instead of two of the same types of films. Because I think
yeah,
that's a good double feature is when they're not too similar, but they balance each other. So yeah,
exactly.
this was fun. I guess we should probably, if we're gonna wrap up soon, we should probably tell people about the Black Apple.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So if you guys haven't seen on our social media or been to our live event when we talked about it, we are currently involved in a Kickstarter campaign with for the Black Apple comic, which you guys can find the link to on our social media, pretty much all over the place. We're posting about it constantly because we're really trying to raise a pretty hefty chunk of change. And the reason for that is the project is an anthology comic that involves a bunch of different artists.
hmm
Um, Jameson and Vicky Smalls, Jameson King and Vicky Smalls are the ones kind of heading the project, getting people involved. They started the Kickstarter. They collabed with us. Basically, one of the stories, as far as the storyline, Brandon and I get to be vampire hunters.
Yeah. So if you're a big fan of the Lost Boys, this is kind of heavily inspired by the Lost Boys and the Frog Brothers. And also, our small town has been known to have the first vampire for a long time now. So,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, myself and Dave, we've heard a lot of different stories about Mercy Brown. We've kind of gone to her grave site
Yep.
and over the years and kind of just check it out, but it sucks because, a lot of people that go and check it out now, they destroy it and the tomb and just fuck with it a lot. But
Yeah.
that's what happens a lot. So, we thought it would be cool to kind of have that whole thing kind of roll around, and then like even with Rocky Point growing
Yeah.
up, that was a big amusement park that I would go to when I was younger. Did you
Oh
go,
yeah.
Dave?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I used to eat red clam chowder
Yeah, that's
in
that's
the
my
like.
favorite.
Yeah. Uh,
And that's the thing. It's like that was like the best, growing up having clam cakes and chowder,
yeah.
the red chowder, and then like sitting on that back, you know, deck of like behind the park, and then
Yep.
facing out to the water and kind of like just being with your family.
Mm-hmm.
That was a time, you know what I mean? And so Rocky Point shut down because a lot of taxes weren't taken care of. And at one time, Michael Jackson was actually going to like buy it, so
Wow.
yeah, and then a lot of things just kind of fell through. But it was cool to have our own amusement park that was probably like 10 minutes away from home. Now we
I
got to
was
ride.
never I was never into rides. So I would just watch my sisters do all the rides and I'd just be stuffing my face with all the foods.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
now,
it was a great time back then. And now obviously it's all been demolished.
hmm
The area that it's in is now like a park, a walking park.
yep.
Uh, they got some signs kind of saying this was here, this was there. But unfortunately, oh, actually, the rides, a lot of them have been kind of, some of them, I should say, have been preserved,
Yeah.
especially because the haunted house ride was
Yep.
so iconic. Like, I think those carts, there might be one in like a museum somewhere around here, like a Rocky Point,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it's the Wolfman one.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
father and son put that together, restored it. So that was a cool little thing. There's actually like a little documentary that's going around. So if you go to the
You
time,
must be this tall, I think, right? Is it, it's called?
I think so. So I know the time capsule sells it, so guys can go swing by there. They have the DVD on the shelves, or you can even look it up online.
And
And
they also made a comic book out of that about that haunted house too, which I
oh,
can't
did
remember
they?
the comic book, but I think that's also, I think they sell that at Time Capsule as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's one thing. I think that another thing, like I think that magazine comic book kind of is a tick setting that me and you actually work in the comic book store like the Frog Brothers, so it kind of
Yeah.
resembles, time capsule.
Yeah.
So just a lot of things that we loved were kind of put into this project. So it will, after this project, like Dave said, it's an anthology. After everything's done with this, our comic book will continue and spin off to our own,
Yeah.
more pages, more stories and everything like that. But this, you can get the taste of like what's going on and what's to
Yeah.
come. So
Yeah, I'm super excited. It definitely has like our stories in particular, like the artwork that Jameson was doing for it, definitely has like uh what is it, EC comics, like the old school comics,
yeah,
that the horror comics. It has that kind of vibe to it, which is awesome. And I just think he knocked it out of the park. So really hoping you guys will check out the campaign, the Kickstarter campaign. Like I said, check out our social media to get details on it. The Black Apple comic, and shout out to all the artists that are involved in it. Jameson King, Vicky Smalls. They're awesome. So it's been nice collabing with them.
yeah. So definitely stay tuned because we're gonna do a special "What Did We Just Watch" with Jameson and Vicky. They're gonna present some movies to us, and we're gonna do an episode together, and we'll talk a little bit more about the comic book. So definitely stay tuned, and please help support us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then one last thing, we have an event coming up on August 11th. So I think this will be out right during that middle of that week.
Mm-hmm.
August 11th, Buttonwoods Brewery in Cranston, Rhode Island. We're showing Alligator. And
Classic.
also Jameson and Vicky are collabing, I think, again on
A poster.
posters for the event. So we're going to have Alligator posters for sale at the event. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
proceeds are going to go towards the Kickstarter. So just finding different ways to kind of, raise money to get this project up and running as we're trying to get all the artists paid.
Yep.
So that's going to be super fun, that event. Check out again our social media for details on that. Troll 2. Did we even talk about how Troll 2 went? I think we did in our last episode.
I think
Right?
we did. Yeah. I think
That was
we did.
amazing turnout. So I'm really hoping we can keep that going for the summer, because outside movie watching is a must. So
Top tier. We appreciate everybody coming out. Shout out to the PVD movie group that came out and all
absolutely.
our followers and listeners. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I guess we're out. So we'll see you guys for, well, what did we just watch? 6 will be a special one with Jameson and Vicky. So we'll see you guys then.
All right.
Have a great night, everyone.
Take it easy.